This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sean Preston.
Welcome to another episode of the Good Neighbor Podcast. I'm your co-host, Sean Preston, and today is the Halloween-themed event. And for those who are on video, you can clearly see I am Ken from Barbie. And today we have another good neighbor on with us, and that is the lovely Nasrin Zamani of GTA and Simcoe Homes. How are you today, love?
Very good, thank you, Sean. How are you?
Well, I'm feeling pretty good, honestly. Doing the podcast is a pretty sweet gig, I'm not going to lie, but getting an opportunity to just put on a Halloween costume and have a little bit of fun when you go to work, I'm all about that. So really looking forward to having you on the show and super excited to learn a little bit more about you.
That's great. Thank you. And thanks for the opportunity. I'm excited to be here.
No worries. So I'm sure everybody's chomping at the bit. I certainly know I am. So why don't we dive right into it? And why don't you tell us a little bit about your business?
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Nasrin, and we're a husband and wife team. Our Instagram handle is Nasrin and David. And we're based in Barrie. We work with Remax Crosstown Realty. And we serve clients all the way from Toronto to Parry Sound, Muskoka, mostly residential real estate. We do a bit of commercial, but majority of our business is residential real estate. It could be move-up buyers, first-time buyers, and investor clients actually are a good portion of our business as well. Wonderful.
There are a lot of realtors out there in the world, especially in our local market. Realty and buying and selling homes, there's a straightforwardness component to it. I think most people are familiar, obviously, with the industry, but everybody does it a little bit different. I'm just kind of curious to what you guys do a little bit different out there.
Right. So as a, Persian-speaking realtor, a good portion of my business or our business is clients who speak two languages, and they do have sort of a preference towards somebody who can also speak their native language. So that would be what sort of kind of identifies as a niche for my side of business. And again, as you said, like there's a lot of real estate agents in the area in Simcoe County, and it comes down to who people feel more connected to and more comfortable with, because this is not something like buying a t-shirt. It's buying or selling a house. So the connection, the relationship, it really makes people choose and decide who to work with.
There's been a few times on the show where we've had husband and wife teams that run their businesses together. And I always like asking this question. It's a fun question to ask because, you go to work and you do business with your significant other, and then you come home and you're with your significant other. How have you guys managed to navigate those laneways and maybe a couple of funny things that you guys do together makes it enjoyable?
Right. Well, I would say most of the times I don't find it too difficult. Let's say it's actually nice when we can work together, because especially for me as a woman, I find that the safety factor, it's something that I really appreciate the opportunity to have my husband on my side when I'm out there, and I always feel grateful about this fact, because I know there could be other real estate agents who are out there by themselves, and there are situations, unfortunately, that they're not too comfortable, and that's what I really appreciate most about us being a couple working this.
No, that's absolutely lovely. Do you guys have any little kind of niches within your business where, you prefer handling or dealing with certain aspects to the business, or are really good at this component to the business, and vice versa with your husband?
Honestly, I handle almost everything in terms of paperwork, contracts, and everything. And David doesn't mind me saying that he's usually the driver, just to drive me from point A to point B. But he does have a lot of insight on the let's say material of a building, the structure of a building, and things like that. He has a really good eye for that stuff. But yes, in terms of contracts and paperwork and that, he has no interest in doing any of that. He's like, you're good at it, you handle that, and I'm good. So that's how we manage the business for the most part. Yeah.
And I know that staging a home and stuff like that, prepping it so that it's the most aesthetically pleasing for people who are coming in to look at it. Is that yourself as well that's got that keen eye for that kind of stuff?
Yeah, for sure. Like I would say I'm assuming majority of husband and wife teams run it the same way, that usually anything to do with staging or picking the right decor or whatever, that the staging items that you want to place in the house to show it at its best. It's something that usually I'm assuming usually wives would handle that part. Yeah, for sure. And I really enjoy that. It's something that, like, even at our own house, every now and then I'm redecorating and trying new ways of, rearranging the furniture and the accessories. And it's something that I really enjoy.
Well, the background looks phenomenal back there.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's got their journey and, getting into what they're doing at the present moment. I've always been fascinated. We get to have a lot of guests on the show and hearing all of their unique stories on how and how they get into doing what they're doing. Some people, they start off and that's all they do for their whole career. And then others, a few stepping stones here or there. Sometimes it's a few more than that. What has your journey been like leading up to doing what you're doing today?
Yeah, so before real estate, I was in sales and marketing. I was the marketing director for a magazine. And then before that, for a long time, I was working for a 5-star airline as sales first and then in the marketing department, doing a lot of website management and Google ads and things like that. But at the same time, I was connected to real estate because my dad, who's retired now, at the time, he was an independent real estate developer. He would purchase land and develop it and sell it. So I was kind of familiar with it that way. But it wasn't until I think it was about 12 years ago that a good friend of mine was looking at purchasing property in Toronto. And we ended up going to a lot of open houses together and checking each property and coming back and writing down pros and cons and comparing them and deciding. And that was when I realized I really enjoy this and I want to do this professionally, not just helping a friend. Now, at the same time, when you're looking at this from the outside, it looks a lot easier. You just see the part that, oh, okay, just showing the house, doing an open house. And it seems very easy, but honestly, real estate is a lot more than that. It's a lot of different hats that you have to wear and a lot of hours that you have to put into it to make a deal work. But still, altogether, I really love this and I'm really enjoying it.
Do you have a favorite component to all of that you enjoy the most?
Of course, it's the moment that somebody's offer is accepted. That's just the most fulfilling feeling when, especially, it's been, let's say, a buyer that has been trying for a while to find their dream home or investment property, and it hasn't been easy for them. And then when the final thing that you think that, okay, this is it, this is really the one that it should work for them. When it works and the offer gets accepted, that's an amazing feeling. Calling them and telling them that you got it.
Always a great feeling, helping another human being get what they want. And obviously be able to make a career out of that. It's a pretty special thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really amazing. I enjoy it a lot. The other thing is also like, when the house that a client of ours was selling, it sells, and then the moment that we're putting the sold sign on top, I actually like to do that part either myself or I would let David do it. But a lot of times that's the part that's really fulfilling as well.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Every business, every industry has its way of doing things, just how the industry works. And sometimes for the general public, if there's a lack of knowledge, then myths and misconceptions they can arise. It deters people from maybe making a decision, or because the understanding is just simply not there. So we always like to ask on the show, what kind of myths and misconceptions are out there in the real estate world that you guys hear, and maybe an opportunity to be able to clear the air on some things?
Yeah, for sure. So the one thing that I think I already talked about was the fact that a lot of people who are not in real estate, they think that it's a very easy job, like doing showings and opening the door and being the tour guide, but it's a lot more than that. But we already touched on that. So the other thing that I could mention, it's a myth, is the fact that a lot of homeowners who are wanting to move, they think they have to wait until it's a hot market to make that move, because they think, well, in a hot market, my neighbor sold for this much, and now I know that the other neighbor sold for, let's say, $200,000 less. So it's a slow market, and I'm not going to think about moving right now. I'll wait until it's a hot market. What they don't realize is that it's very stressful for some people to make that move in a hot market. Yes, it's true that you would get a lot more for your home, but the part that you're going to be the one who's looking to buy and searching for the home that you want to move into, that is the most stressful part. And some people can manage it well, and that's why a lot of clients, we help them buy and sell in a hot market, no problem. But then there are some that just, even kind of going through the process makes them nervous, and they just can't do it. And they have to basically do that in a balanced market. The balanced market, the nice thing about it is that everything is kind of a slowed down pace. So, for example, if you've decided that you want to make a move because your house is too small for you, and it's time to, let's say you have, when you bought this house, you had one kid and now you have 3 kids, and it's too small for you. What's nice about it is that you can easily, do your search and kind of find the right property without competing with 50 other buyers. And at the same time, yes, your home may take a little bit longer to sell, but it's definitely worth having less stress and having a smoother transition.
And I'm sure, correct me if I'm wrong, the inventory levels a little bit more higher, a little bit more to choose from as well.
Exactly. That is so true. And that's another thing that's nice compared to a hot market, when you know that as soon as a nice property comes on the market, it's either gone same day, or at the very max in 3 or 4 days, it's gone. So it's different. Whereas now, or in any balanced market, you have a lot more inventory to choose from, which is a nice thing when you want to make sure that the house that you're moving to is ticking a lot of boxes.
I got super lucky getting my home. I'm up here in my office.
Right.
And so I got it in July 2019, right when the market was starting to heat up. It was pretty much lit at that time. And I was looking for something pretty specific. I wanted to have a walkout basement.
Right.
My sister at the time was moving back from Toronto, so I could have an opportunity to, and she's a business owner, so a skincare therapist, be able to run her business out of the house as well too. So there's a few specific boxes that I need to check. And after a lot of searching around, I landed on this one here, and I lost it. So I submitted my bid. I went 10 grand below list at the start because they had smoked in the home. So smelled like cigar across the whole. There's nicotine stains in the corners of the walls. An older couple, and I believe they might have had another couple here as well too. And somebody, I believe one of the daughters lived in the basement. So, and there was cat pee in the carpet downstairs. So not necessarily ideal. Where I'm like, okay, well, I want the house. I'm gonna have to do some stuff to it, but we'll go 10 grand below list. And then I lost it. And I was insanely disappointed because I felt like there was a calling. I've got an affinity for bright colors, clearly from what you see me wearing. Those who are on video, pink flamingos, I seem to have a fascination towards. That's certainly something we can talk about after the show. and the door was pink. On my door is pink on the front of the house. And so I was like,
that was a sign.
Yeah, 100%. And I got lucky. My realtor at the time said, like, the other realtors just answering me weird. And I've got this feeling like just resubmit and submit it right away. So I did. And sure enough, the financing was shaky and they dropped. I was first one in. I removed my conditions and then I got lucky and scored the house. So
amazing. Yeah. Such a nice feeling though when you get, the house that you really feel connected to.
Yeah, totally. And it's been pretty good. I got lucky, and then the housing market boomed, right? So got in pretty much at the right time. So I feel very very thankful. But everything happens for a reason, right?
Yeah, for sure. 2019 was a good time to buy. Like whoever bought in 2019 noticed a really good price appreciation after that during the years of 2020, 2021, and the first 2 months of 2022 as well. Yeah.
So I love asking this question because the theme is around fun, and I like to have fun. So when we're business owners, we're really passionate about what we do, right? And you've clearly articulated finding that passion and enjoying what you do day in and day out. And so working is not really work for us. It's fun, right? And so we can dump in a lot of hours into that because it's not like when you're at a 9-to-5 job or working shift work and you're not overly enjoying what you're doing that much. It's a little bit more dreadful, and you're counting the days or the time that you're at work, et cetera, et cetera. So where I'm going with this is it's never really a balance, because balance means everything is equal, and we tend to work a little bit more than we play. And so I like to use the word harmony, right? Finding that tune that fits the best for what our needs are. And so when you're not working on your business or working in your business, what does Nasrin like to do for fun?
So when I'm not working, which as you said, it's not like it's a lot of time, unfortunately, or fortunately, because when we enjoy the work, it doesn't feel like it's work. But at the same time, when I'm not doing real estate work, I do have so I created this group of Persian Canadians in the area, residents in the area, back in 2016. And I started very small, like it was, I think, 25 people or so in the beginning, and it's grown up to be 750 plus people.
Wow.
So when I'm not doing real estate, I'm trying to spend time on that. And I've compiled lists of businesses that people may need, especially the newcomers, to help them settle easier. Like, for example, if somebody needs a plumber or an electrician or an HVAC technician and things like that. It's a way of people supporting each other in that group, and also at the same time doing events, community events. And, it takes time organizing events. And I've teamed up with 2 other people from my friends who help me, and we basically do events together. And then we have, we can't do it without the help of volunteers. We have a group of, I think, 15 or 16 volunteers that help, and we arrange different events, and the community comes together and socializes, and there's DJ and dance and music, and it's basically fun. And then, of course, other than that, like myself and my husband, we like to explore different, outdoor spaces, whether it's restaurants or, let's say right now with the fall colors, just going and exploring different areas, and it's just way of making memories for sure.
Beautiful. Who's the cook in the house?
Myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Julie and I, my fiance, we both like to cook.
Right.
I've had an opportunity to dabble in the Persian cuisine. Absolute phenomenal food.
Wow.
Just want to throw that out there. But we enjoy cooking. Share memories in the kitchen, great way to do it. And we put a little bit of effort, especially since we can both do it together, to collaborate a little bit more on our meals, especially if it's not overly crazy during the week. Right, during the week, everybody's busy. Weekend, sometime a little bit more time, depending on your schedule and how that works out. But I was just kind of curious to ask you guys, who's the who runs the kitchen?
Right. I have to say though, David makes, as he calls it, a really mean grilled cheese. That's his.
I love it.
That's something that I don't know what it is. I just can't do a grilled cheese in a perfect way, but when he does it, it's just amazing.
So we are extremely similar, you and I, because I can't nail a grilled cheese, but Julie is like David. She can just absolutely crush a grilled cheese sandwich, and sometimes she'll make a homemade soup with that. It's just a die for.
Yeah, tomato soup.
She can make tomato soup. Yeah, she makes tomato soup. The last time we did it, I think she made a vegetable medley. It was incredible.
Very good. Yeah.
So out there, patio season, sitting out there, checking out new places around our local community. You got a couple of favorite spots that you guys like to go out when you go out and eat?
Yeah, for sure. We like 147. It's one of our favorites. And the Chills Lounge for dessert after.
Great spot.
Yeah, we enjoy that. We just tried the new, can't remember the exact name of it, just at the bottom of 185 Dunlop, the Lake House, the new bakery store. And their croissants are just amazing. Don't know if you tried, but yeah, the pistachio croissant, it was so good.
Julie and I have a French background. Croissants I'm all about that.
Oh, wow. It must be a little hard, though, to keep the weight managed, right, with croissants, because they're delicious, and it's like,
Totally. I totally understand that. Have you ever tried the Dunlop Street West all the way at the end, where it almost pretty much runs out? There's a little spot in there. It's called Bayside Variety. Have you ever been in there?
Oh, yeah. That's really nice, too. We used to live, actually, in those condos.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah. So before the Bayside Variety, it was Shirley's, right? And yeah, we used to enjoy that too, and even now with the new management and the new ownership, it's a very nice spot.
Yeah, big fan of that place. I had Julie brought me there. I didn't know, never been there before, and their seasonal menu, so it changes all the time. It was like one of the top 5 meals that I've ever had, and I've eaten in Rome before as well. Obviously, that's top 5, but that's how high quality the food was there. I was blown away.
Yeah, I think I can't remember, that was when it was Shirley's or Bayside, but I think I really enjoyed their salmon dish. Can't remember though which management was it? Was it at the time that it was still Shirley's, or was it after? But it was really good.
Yeah, you get me talking about food, and I'll take you for an hour and a half podcast if we keep going on that. So very good. Okay, so maybe we'll touch on a little bit more of a serious topic. In life, we walk that path, right? The path of life, and life will get in the way. It'll throw things at us. Life challenges, hardships. Sometimes those hardships are in forms of tragedies. Some people experience them a little bit more than others, but I've always been fascinated at human beings and the way they are able to not only adapt to them, but overcome these challenges, right? Mindset has a big thing to do with that. Looking at the glass half full, pulling silver linings from these things,
Yeah.
and then moving forward, right? Because we have to move forward, and we know time heals all things. But I wanted to ask you, have you ever experienced a hardship, a life challenge that maybe you overcome, maybe it made you better, maybe it made you stronger, maybe you took some silver linings from it?
Yes, actually, it's a good question. It's something that, for me, it was my moving from one country to another. Like, I'm sure you can imagine, even relocating from a province to another province can be challenging and not the easiest thing to do, starting from scratch, in new surroundings and new culture and everything. And I did that twice. I moved once from Iran to Qatar, and then I was there for from 1994 until 2012. Well, basically 2009, I got my permanent residency in Canada, but then took some time to wrap things up there and make the move here. And it was a huge challenge because not only I was changing, you know, where I lived, it was completely, different continent, different culture, different everything basically. Now, language was not a barrier for me because I was speaking English back in Qatar too. But there's so many different things that basically, no matter how much you think you've prepared yourself for it, you just face a lot of challenges. And I know that coming from, the corporate world where I had a management position there and a good salary and everything, I was confident that I would come here and I would get a job, no problem. But at the beginning, I remember going through so many interviews and everything was going great at the first and second interview, but then eventually the person who would get selected was somebody who had previous work history right here in Canada, which, to be honest, makes perfect sense because if I put myself in the shoes of the employer and I have candidates who are applying and let's say 3 of them have worked here locally, and then one of them, even though has, same qualifications, but it's not from here, I would feel more comfortable hiring the person who has, local work experience. It makes perfect sense. But still, it's a challenge for the person who has moved here with, the same qualifications. So those are challenges that I'm sure a lot of people who have relocated, no matter from a province to another province or from a country to another or from a continent to another, they face. And it kind of makes a lot of sense if you do this with a positive outlook and with a positive mindset, because I would say that's the only way that you can overcome. Just keeping your eyes on on your goal and saying that I've done this because I know I'm wanting more in life and I'm going to get to that. But if you don't have the positive outlook and mindset, it's so easy to just give up and say, okay, can't do this and go back. And I think this is something that a lot of people who are relocating right now, even within Canada, might be facing. But again, if you keep the positive mindset, that's the key to making it work.
Often it's been said that through struggle comes growth. How do you find that difference in growth from when you first came here to who you are now?
I feel like good job. That's basically how I feel. Like I know that even right now there are challenges and there are struggles, but to look back and see how far I've come, I keep telling myself that and that's one of the reasons I try to help newcomers settle easier, because like if there's anything, not just myself, anybody who's gone through the process, if they help newcomers to kind of find the ways to settle easier, it's a very fulfilling feeling.
100%. I mean, it's an incredible story. Challenges, adversity, and perseverance.
Yeah.
To keep going, like you were talking about, mindset and not giving up.
Yeah, for
Those
sure.
are great examples that we're proud to tell, and having you on the show, be able to have other people who could potentially be going through something similar, and knowing that there's somebody else out there that's saying, hey, if you just keep going, you put your mind to it,
Yeah.
you can do anything you want. You can overcome the phase of suck, I like to call it. It's going to suck for a little while, but eventually you'll get past that. And life is always going to be throwing things our way. Life is not easy. Sometimes I hear business owners will say, it's stressful. It's always stressful. It's stressful when you're going backwards in your business. It's stressful when you're not growing, and it's also stressful when you're growing. So it's always going to be stressful. It's how we manage that stress, that adversity, and the things that we do. And wanted to commend you for all of that hard work, and look where you are today. Very cool.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, I wanted to ask you one thing that you wish that our listeners knew about your business. If you had one thing, what would it be?
One thing about our business. So about real estate in general, I think it would be the fact about commission, because I know that sometimes to some people it may feel like, wow, why should I pay so much commission for selling my house? And it may not seem like it's warranted. But when you think of it, as a realtor, it's not like we're just getting this commission to sell this house and there's no expenses. No, to be able to be in real estate as a realtor, there are so many various expenses that we have to keep paying. We have to keep paying to be able to keep in the business, from marketing expenses to professional, licensing dues and insurance and various things. So basically, what sometimes people don't pay attention to is that the realtors are not getting a monthly salary or whatever else. This is basically the way they make income. So yes, at the first look, if you're not paying attention to the whole picture, it may seem different. But when you go into the details of what are the expenses that a realtor has to keep paying to be able to maintain their license, it's a lot. So that would be one thing that I think a lot of people may not be, not a lot of, but some people may not be aware of.
Totally. Yeah. I'll echo that even further from that. I mean, there's not just the dollars that go into it, but there's the time, right? Being commission only, the time it takes to stage the house, the time it takes to sit at the open house on a Saturday for the majority of the day.
Yeah.
The time it takes to travel between clients, the time it takes to do consultations with clients, whether it's an investment client, first time home buyer, upgrade, downgrade, you're still donating your time for that and not getting anything in return. So I would completely agree with that. And like we say, right, knowledge is power. And the more that people know about that, the more that helps clear the air. I'm not an expert in this. And so that's the cost of doing business, to get a professional, somebody who, I mean, even in your niche, right, where you speak 2 languages, and speaking Persian to somebody who doesn't speak English, and being able to find somebody, especially when you're saying that you guys fit personality wise and everything like that. I mean, having a professional on my side for anything I'm doing, I'm just planning my honeymoon right now. So we need to have a professional take care of that. I've been to Rome once, but I've never traveled to Malta and then to Rome and then to Sicily and then go up to France and do a little tour up there. Like, there's so much that's involved in that. I need help from a professional. And I think
somebody who's experienced it. And
totally. Yeah. So, okay. I'm sure there's probably some people that are interested in wanting to get to know you a little bit more, wanting to reach out to you. And so for those who are, what would be one of the best ways that they can go ahead and do that?
Yeah, for sure. My phone number is 647-997-7280. They can call or text. And then the email address is contact@yourberryteam.ca. And the website is gta-simcoehomes.ca. They can contact us through any of these channels. For those who are on Instagram, Nasrin.and.David is our Instagram handle for English language. And then we have the Persian page for Persian speaking content, which is persian.realtor.north.
Lovely. Fantastic conversation. Super happy to have you on the show. Before I let you go, I want to add a little Persian flair at the end. What would be one thing that you could recommend, whether I'm going out and I'm having Persian food, or if it's something I can learn to make at home? What would be something tasty that I could make that would be able to allow me to bask a little bit into the Persian culture from food perspective?
Wow, that's a really good question. So if you were to go to a restaurant here right now in Barrie, the only Persian restaurant is Taste of Persia. They have really good food. They've been in the food business for over 30 years, having the pizza shop beside it. But yeah, it's one of the good spots for Persian foods for sure. Now, if you wanted to try something at home, I would say try a kebab that is basically marinated with pomegranate paste and crushed walnuts. So all you do is take the beef cubes that are ready for kebab and marinate them with crushed walnuts, pomegranate paste, and a bit of olive oil, a little bit of seasoning, could be a tiny bit of onion and garlic, and then just mix them, marinate them, and then barbecue. It would be such an amazing flavor.
I am going to add that to my list of things to do over the next couple of weeks. And I'll have to reach back out to you after and let you know how it went.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, for sure.
Very cool. Thank you very much for coming on the show. That was a great conversation. Lovely person, good business, and maybe potentially have an opportunity to do this down the line.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Midhurst. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpmidhurst.com. That's gnpmidhurst.com or call 705-413-3775.